One moment you'll go from like nothing to like suddenly. So we got a new car. As bad as this may sound, I am choosing to just take the beating of it in order to preserve the relationship that he has with his dad. Bawled my eyes out. God, why did you let that happen? I remember the day that it got repossessed. I was so happy. Baby, I see that bus hit that corner. Oh, I was so hurt. I am not willing to settle for nothing just because I don't want to be alone. Y'all didn't expect me, because I did not expect to come up on here. It's Canela Jazz. This is Lost and Found. It's had to be about a good month or something since I picked up this mic and felt comfortable enough to talk. But I really felt ready to like talk. So here I am, you guys, to give y'all an update like on the things that I haven't went through now that I've like got to feel the emotions of those things. I have a preschooler. My kids go to daycare. New like ventures. Lots of emotions. After about, I want to say August, September, it was about 2 months, or was it a little over 2 months of not seeing Kylan. I finally saw Kylan. And I want to talk about like the emotions that I went through and the realizations that I got going through all of the things, all of the new transitions. And of course, I'm going to give you guys an update because I've been separated for 4 months. And I'm going to give you guys an update on like how I'm doing with that and just being by myself and all the things that I've realized about myself. And, you know, we got a new car. Just like testimony. Where should I start? I'm going to start with, we got a new car, you guys. I did vlog it, but I don't know if you guys come from, you know, come to this channel because of my vlogs or what. I don't know if you guys just watch the podcast or whatever, but yes, we got a new car and very thankful and very grateful for the car. It's not a perfect car by any means. It's an older used car, but I'm so grateful for it. I mean, I just sit in it sometimes and just thank God because I'm so grateful because it was over a year since I had a car in my name. Since that car, if you guys are not new, I used to have a black Jeep that I got when Kier and I were like together during like the marriage, and it got repossessed last August. And y'all, I remember the day that it got repossessed. I was so happy. Oh my goodness, I was so happy. You guys ever like had something and you know it wasn't from God and you know you shouldn't have it and it doesn't bring any peace? Baby, that applies to many things, not just a car. But it was something that I could not wait to see it go. Like there was the things of God. I just feel like there's not going to be struggle when things are given to you and it is just struggle. There is like no peace about it. It's not something that God will even let you obtain. I don't want it. Like, they took that car. Happy, baby, I was happy. I didn't cry no tear. I didn't feel no kind of way. Our peace had came over me, and I don't miss nothing about it. I don't miss what came with it, the drama that came with it. I don't miss nothing. But anyhow, we have a new car, and I'm just so thankful. I'm so grateful. And sometimes I believe that God will make you wait such a long period of time to increase your gratefulness whenever he does bless you with something. And when I say it's a real testimony, because y'all know I still don't have a job. And so where would I get the kind of money to buy a car? And I will say that God sent the help, but it was something that I actually had to pay for. So let me tell you how this happened. I'm in my bed one day. I'm in my bed one day, and some money is deposited into my account. Like a good amount of money. A good amount of money. I didn't need the money. Bills are paid. I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, well, God, I've been through enough life at 26 years old to recognize that you're sending the provision before you send the thing. I don't know what you're about to send right now because I had no idea about the car, but I recognize I need this money for something, so I'm going to use wisdom, and I'm going to like let it be here because there's something that I obviously need in the future. So that happens. I want to say maybe about like a week later, I was getting like conversation about the kids starting daycare. So I'm like, oh, I need a car. I'm reaching out to my dad, like, I need a car. I'm like, I'll buy your car, like in the back of your house. He was so hesitant, like he did not want to sell it to me. I'm like bothering him like every other day. He did not want to sell it to me. So I'm like, God, well, what do you have for me? Because where I don't want to lease another car. Like I don't want to do anything like that. That's going to be held over my head. It's going to be hard for me to maintain. I don't want to do that. So God just keeps telling me wait. So I'm waiting, and one day my dad calls me about something totally different, and he was like, well, I found this car, but I've been calling the person in the newspaper and they never returned back my call, but I'll give you the person's number and you can call directly yourself. When I tell you I get off the phone with my dad, I call this man directly. He answers second ring, and I was like, he was telling me like the car, that somebody else was buying the car. And so like we couldn't come see it and stuff like that. And so I'm like, okay. My dad was like, well, it's just as good as gone. And I'm like, I go into like deep prayer in tongues and just claiming what is mine is for me. Are that my kids? Sorry, I had to pause. It was some kids, some kids that I know in the neighborhood. But I go into serious prayer, like claiming what is mine and whatnot, until I like petitioning with heaven. And so after I felt like there was like a release, I stopped. When I tell you that I think 2 hours went by, and he called me and was like, you know, they called me and let me know that they don't want it or they can't buy it. Your dad can come like see it. Oh baby, it was good as gone. It was mine. It was mine. And my dad just was like, that's crazy. But that's how it happened. And then I didn't actually end up getting the car like in my possession and in my name until the day before my kids had to start daycare. So that was very exciting. So we got a new car, and that's that testimony. And I'm very, 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 very thankful. I own it. It's in my name. It's so nothing is being held over my head. Sorry if y'all hear the beep because it's like one of the alarms need new battery, and I put new battery in it. Don't judge me. So that happened. Good things, good things. Well, I think all the things that happen are good things. Yeah. The kids started daycare, and y'all know I've been a stay-at-home mom for like 4 years. And it was such a big fear of mine to let my kids go because I hid behind being a mom and being a wife. Like I hid my true self behind those things. And I didn't feel like I was ready to come from behind that. And I also struggle with abandonment, and I didn't want to feel like I was abandoning my children. So I didn't go down that route. Here and I met up there and took them to daycare, and it was interesting. They didn't like react bad at first. They have had like some negative like reactions, like crying and stuff like that. But like that's normal kid stuff. But overall, they're doing like really good. And I was only letting them go for like a couple hours a day just to like get us all accustomed. And when I tell y'all, my thoughts were not moving in a straight line for a long time. There were days when I did not come in the house the whole time that they were gone. There were days that were spent really either not eating or extremely comfort eating there was just a lot of days spent not in the house. But I feel like God orchestrated it so perfectly that one of the kids would have an appointment. Like I would still throughout the week be juggling at least one child by themselves. And that worked out so well for me because I recognized that them fully being just pulled away from me and me being thrown into being by myself, I would have kind of self-destructed and just been doing anything to try to fill the void. And about a couple weeks into daycare, Romello started preschool. And y'all know, baby, he's still 3 and he's in a big school with the big kids, and he is in an integrated classroom. Some children on the spectrum, some children not. He has an IEP, so they give him like the things that he needs, like the speech therapist and things like that. But my goodness, he just took to it so well. If y'all did not watch that video of him going to preschool, go. Well, really, the video is about me, but still go watch it. Dude was just as happy as could be. He did not look at me to leave. Like, he's like, bye. Like, you could tell the whole atmosphere of it was great, and he loved it. He gave me peace that he loved it. I sat in the car because it's a half day. I sat in the car the whole entire time till I had to pick him up. I never went in the house that day. The next day, I had told myself I was going to go in the house, and I recorded all this in the video, and I went in the house, or I came in the house, and I cleaned the whole time. But at least I was in the house. And then the third day, I told myself, like, you're not going to clean today, but you're going to go in that house. And I recognized, because my house is really me, I recognized that every time I didn't want to come in the house, it's because I was running away from something in my mind that I didn't want to deal with, that now I'm forced to deal with because nobody's in the house with me. I can no longer hide behind, oh, you can't deal with that because your kids are here. You can't deal with that because you're a wife. It's like, no, go up in your house and you need to deal with those things that you need to deal with by yourself so that you can grow as a person and heal as a person properly. And so it has been a journey, but something that I didn't do throughout that process was I kept suppressing the emotion. Like, during them going to daycare and him going to preschool, as much as I wanted to cry, I didn't let it out because I wasn't finding this safe space within myself to let it out. I should have came in my house and I should have cried, but I didn't. And honestly, I wish that I could have just cried on spot when I wanted to cry on spot, but I didn't feel safe with people to even do that. But the people really don't matter. I didn't feel safe enough within myself to do that. So here we go. Mello has to ride the bus. Man, when I say God had been preparing me 2 seasons ago in life that he was going to ride the bus and I was ignoring God, this was the day. When I say that nobody is better at orchestrating things the way that God is to soften the blow of something, his first day riding the bus ended up being from his school to daycare. And they ended up calling me on the phone and it gave me so much peace. God is so good for that. And he just was so kind to me for giving me that. But then when it came time for him to ride that bus from my house and I had to do it, like I had to put on my bigger panties, I did not want him to ride that bus. I'm like, God, this is a tough thing for me. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Like, this is such a fear that I'm overcoming, putting my baby on this bus. I've never experienced this with Kylan. I don't know what I'm doing. He wants to ride this bus so bad, you guys. Do you hear me? He's talking about this bigger yellow bus that he's riding. And I'm just like, you sure you don't want me to drive you? Like, we're in the car. He's like looking like, no bus. I'm like, man, I hope this bus does not come. Baby, I see that bus hit that corner. Oh, I was so hurt. He gets out, they pull up directly here. They say his name. And then he just gets on the bus, goes to the bus aid, and he has a car seat on the bus. And they just put my dude in there. He's just like, bye. When I got back in that car, cried. Now, I didn't like boohoo cry, but I cried. I cried for the first time in all of those different transitions. I can feel the emotion again. I cried, and then I went to the store and I went shopping and I bought things to comfort eat. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I have been, either the anxiety has got the best of me and I've been starving, or I've been comfort eating or comfort buying food. Like, I don't even want to eat the food. I am comfort buying it just for me to look at it. That is a horrible quality, you guys. Please, if you do that, let us stop. Okay, let us stop. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I did it again today, but I am working on it. So I had peace with all those things, and it was crazy that after I had came over all of those milestones, the very next day, Kylan came. So I went to go get him. And I was like, that is just so crazy how God works. All the newness, God will send something or somebody that he knows that you are familiar with, and it brings comfort to you. He will bring that to you. Nothing happens by coincidence, because I did not even plan on getting him that weekend, but that was the weekend I ended up getting him. And so I don't see him. I hadn't saw him in like 2 months. And so there was a lot that I realized when he was here that I was battling with internally. Just by watching how I interact with him, I recognize that with him, I do not know how to be emotional, because I have never allowed him to see what going through court did. I've also never allowed myself to let him know that we went through court. It is a situation that I've never spoke about with him. In fact, I really don't think that he knows. And I recognize at that time being here that I suppress my emotions so bad with him, and it causes me to not even be emotionally available for him as a mother. Because if you're suppressing an emotion, all of the emotions are being suppressed. If I was to let out one emotion, I'm going to release all the emotions, and I don't know how to release to him how I feel without releasing how I feel about what happened, and still protect him. And I believe that is, if you guys have went through anything like this, you guys can definitely respond in the comments on how you guys overcame that, because I really don't know at this point. I'm navigating it because I definitely want to love my son openly, and I have such high hopes for the future. If he ever comes and asks me in the future and I feel like it's something that I'm ready to talk about, but I realize that he's so young and I just want to protect him, and my truth on the situation will contradict the truth that his father has told him to believe. And I recognize that. And as bad as this may sound, I am choosing to just take the beating of it in order to preserve the relationship that he has and the love that he has with his dad. And that's probably not good. And that's probably I don't know if that's the people pleasing side of me, or if that's just, I really don't want to hurt my son, even though I'm probably hurting him still because I'm being a mom with the suppressed emotions. But I just haven't learned how to navigate that. But I realize that is something that I do when he's here, and I really don't like it. I don't like it at all. I want to be able to love on him openly, and without giving him the pain that caused me. But again, I'm hopeful for the future. I don't have no problem if he be like, you weren't emotionally there for me saying sorry. I don't want my son though to go out here in this world and be hurting women and stuff like that because his mom wasn't emotionally available. So I really pray that it is something that God gets under wraps, and the truth on everything will come out eventually. Nothing built on a lie will stand. Somebody told me that. And so the truth on everything it'll come to the light. I realized when I went to go drop him back off, that I honestly put myself in such a numb state when I have to drop him back off, because it will never feel good as a mother to send your baby back off. It will never feel good as a mother to know the situation, know how it transpired, and still have to release this and put it in God's hands and trust God. Who knows if it will ever get easy as a mother. But I am trusting God in that situation. But I put myself in such a numb state on my way to drop him off, and even after I dropped him off, because the emotions have to come out eventually. They do. And they did. But I ran away from them for a bit. And when I came home that night after I put my kids to sleep, I recognized that it needed to come out. And I literally fell to my knees in my bathroom. And I bawled. I bawled my eyes out. And all I kept hearing myself say was, God, why did you let that happen? God, why did you let that happen? Just crying. Next day comes, I'm in the car from bringing children from the doctors. I'm still numb, I could tell. And I just start bawling in the car. And it dawns on me. I don't even know how this thought came to me. But I said out loud, I said, Canela, you're not crying about Kylan, you're crying about you. You're crying about something that happened to you. I had such an epiphany in that moment. And when I tell you that I know God is real, and it's so crazy, the things that God will allow to wake you up and to shake you. It never dawned on me until that day, I think the 2 days after Kylan left, that he allowed me to feel that pain. And every single time I get into that place where I feel helpless, a situation where I feel helpless, God was allowing me to actually see the younger part of me. And I recognize in that moment, all the times that I'm crying for my younger self. What I felt when I went through court, that fight or flight, is that same fight or flight that I felt when I was a child. That enemy keeps trying to hit things in that same area to keep me in a shell like a turtle. And that same area is the same area God is trying to get to in me. And if I can open up myself to allow God to come into that area so he can strengthen that area, then the enemy will no longer be able to hit me in that area. And so these situations where the enemy keeps putting me in these situations that make me feel like I don't know what to do, because I don't, or at least I think that I don't, God is allowing it. He has allowed it so that I could pay attention to the pattern and pay attention to what the enemy was doing. And baby, when I tell you, I did not have that. Kylan's been gone like over a year. Like, I did not have that epiphany until 2 days after me seeing him. I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't just hit the jackpot. Like, I see what the enemy is doing. I thought that it was just like people's kids be taken away. No, the enemy wants to continue to make you think that you're helpless. He wants, and he has done that over my family and my bloodline. We'll be in such a compromising situations when we're of youth that we were helpless in. And the enemy wants to continue to put us in situations to trick us into tricking our mind into thinking we are still that helpless child when we are not that helpless child anymore. And the enemy should have never let me realize that, because who are you about to keep playing? Who are you not? You're not about to keep playing me. Like, you're not about to keep playing these mind games on my mind. Now that I realize the place that you are targeting, I am going to combat the area that you're targeting. I want God to come into that area. So now I'm going to continue to try to open myself to the love of God for him to come and fill that area. So you can stop playing with me. So yeah, that might have been something for one of y'all. But that happened. I've been talking, honey. I've been talking. We need to wrap this up. All those milestones, such an emotional time. I still was running even after that. I went through some like angry stages. Typically, I've realized about myself, and this happens with a lot of people, that typically when you react angry, it's not really because you're angry. There is a underlying emotion underneath anger. Anger is normally trying to protect some sort of fear, or anger is trying to protect something. So I've started to deal with like the anger part and things like that, but now I kind of know what I'm dealing with so that I can combat what it is when it's trying to like pop up. So yeah, I went through that, and I feel like I don't really need to give like no 4 month update, because like that's what's been happening. Of course, naturally, I have times where it's like, wow, you're by yourself. And I have really realized that I don't really like to be by myself. But since I grew up pretty much alone, I have told myself that it's more safe for me to be alone. But I've also realized, on top of realizing I don't really like to be alone like that, I have also realized that I am not willing to settle for nothing just because I don't want to be alone. Like, I don't just want anything just to fill a void of me not being alone. God has definitely strengthened me up like a lot. And I will say that I think that came with like just being celibate. Might be too much information, but like I hadn't been celibate. I mean, I was obviously married. I mean, I'm still married, but like I was married, and then even before that, I was making these kids. Y'all know. So I wasn't celibate. And so I haven't been celibate from the time that I ain't been celibate. And so for me to be going like the longest that I've ever went in my life, just like being celibate, I realized that sex really fogs your mind. Like it is really a powerful thing, and it really fogs your mind. And if you can go time without it, and you can allow your mind to just constantly be cleansed and unfogged, you will start making better decisions. And baby, who would have thought? I mean, who would have thought it? Because surely not me. But it's been an interesting 4 months. A lot of blessings, a lot of emotions, a lot of new. And I will say that my life is almost unrecognizable to myself. There's a few little things, and the fact that I still live in the same place. But honestly, once those few little things change, and then like where I live changes, my life will completely be unrecognizable, even to me. And that's so crazy to me, because I literally remember telling myself I think it was like February 17th or 18th this year, 2024, I wrote on a piece of paper to myself, and then I remember I said out of my mouth that something was broken off of my family, and that my life would not look the same that time the next year. And I give all the credit to God. My life already don't look the same, so I know for sure it's not going to look the same that time next year. And I'm so thankful for that. And you guys who have been watching me, I can tell you guys truthfully, after pushing past a lot of stuff that has made me scared, I feel way more joy now than I've ever felt in my whole life. Like, life gonna still life, and scary things still happen, and anxiety still hits. I'm still fighting, I'm still battling, and I will always be battling something. But the amount of joy that has came into my life as God has actually renewed my mind in this time of just solitude, is that God? It's wild. It is wild, and I'm so thankful and I'm so grateful for it. But y'all, I've been talking a long time, and I typically wrap it up very soon. So I will see you guys the next time. I cannot wait to see like what God does, because baby, he be doing something like every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, y'all know I was in the house, no car, no nothing, for like 3 months. When I say that all of this stuff has happened in the 1 month I've been gone from talking to you guys, like when they say like one moment you'll go from like nothing to like suddenly, baby, that's literally what it was like. Like, it was like you're not doing anything, and then just suddenly, he's just like, okay, new transition, new transition, new transition, new transition, new transition. We're getting the kids settled. After I get the kids settled, it's gonna be a new transition. Like, for me, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this is like happening overnight. but all right, y'all, I gotta wrap it up. I love you guys. I'm Cornelia Jazz. Do not forget to come back. Don't forget to give this video a like. The video is shaking. We gotta get together. Y'all. Bye.